I think one of the effective ways that I would add is thinking ahead in a systematic way. One of the things that New York, I think, is doing very well is the annual planning around the One NYC, which is our sustainable development plan for the city. It's mandated by the city council. The city government works very hard on it. It's very substantial in content, quantitative, mapped, thoughtful, and forcing a lot of deliberation around the city for the green areas, future of transportation, building codes, education, healthcare, and so forth. And the Sustainable Development Goals are set specifically for the year 2030. The Paris Climate Agreement is set to the year 2050. And this is for a reason, which is that we need to learn once again to think ahead long enough to build infrastructure, to make deeper plans, longer term change. And we're not getting that in DC. We're getting extremely short-term reactive politics, obviously. We're not getting plans. We didn't get it, by the way, this is now several administrations. We've not really built infrastructure in this country for decades. And to build infrastructure is not to say, I want to build something. To build infrastructure is to think hard about the future and what it is you need to build, and then a lot of deliberations to figure out the placement and the land use and the community engagement in order to make that possible. So this is where I think these issues really come in. And what needs to be smart in terms of the tech piece of this, let me just mention a couple of aspects of this. And by the way, what should the tech industries do? The first thing they should do is pay taxes, honestly. And if Amazon, if its second headquarters, when announced, is based on some massive giveaways, we need to have a massive protest, because that company is richer than any in the world. The last thing it needs is local benefits draining away and playing a game of playing the cities against each other. So we need to stop that very bad behavior by the richest person in the whole world, by the way. Let's have some responsibility. This is I can say that because I'm not trying to attract Amazon headquarters to my home, but it's true. Okay, now, what is smart in terms of technology and what do we need? One thing I would say is all our cities are going to have to be all electric cities in the future. We should plan on that. The internal combustion engine is coming to an end. We are going to be driving electric vehicles of some kind in the future because the climate can't stand anything else. So we have to make the shift. We have to make the shift to renewable energy. So every city should be asking, where is my renewable energy, or where is the grid that's going to carry clean energy to me? We just released a study a couple of weeks ago, my team, on how to link New York City with hydropower in Canada, because there's a tremendous synergy, actually, of zero carbon energy possible if you look at the northeast of the US and Quebec and the vast hydro potential. But every city needs to be looking all electric, heating, cooling, driving, especially transport, mass transport, clean energy, zero carbon energy. This is the starting point. And then what SMART also enables us to do, but we haven't really figured it out fully yet, is to make the cities operate in a highly effective manner. Transportation flow, transport safety, autonomous driving. It will come. It will be the norm. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we need to plan, build for it, test it in certain parts of our cities right now, because we're moving in that direction, for sure. Our smart grids can improve massively the healthcare delivery and lower costs tremendously. You know, we pay twice as much in this country for any health delivery as any other part of the high-income world. And there are many aspects of that, mainly monopoly power. But one way to get this down is through tech. And we have a lot of improvements of healthcare that can come through smart, citywide public health provision. And I would say in my own sector, in education, the universities are also vastly overpriced. And with smart education, it should be possible to enable every young person. You can get an education at $5,000 tuition. You don't need $50,000 and student loans up to here that are going to smother you for the first 20 years of your life, if you're lucky to get out of them ever. But use tech to get a much lower cost delivery of education and skills. So this is another area where we can be smart and effective. And Mayor, you said it exactly right. One of the things that's happening, which we do not feel fully, and I can just report back on a visit from China, boy, are they moving on these issues very, very fast. Fascinating things happening. I spent a day in Huawei, which in our tech fights we're trying to keep out of this country. I think it's a big mistake and a big protectionism. But they're leading on smart cities all over China. Very clever, very innovative technologies to make the garbage, the waste management better, the public health, the emergency response systems, and many of these other features. And so a lot is happening, and we want to make sure we're running and delivering also. One final point I would make on this, which is use your universities, because every city, Columbia, South Carolina, and New York City, and all our great cities have wonderful universities, and they need to be pulled into this. You are responsible for helping think through the solutions here, because sometimes they think that's not their role, but it's got to be a key part of, and that'll bring business and many solutions in as well.